Hey folks, it's Matt once again with another review of another Dolph Lundgren film. And this time it is Jill the Ripper, also known as Jill Rips. Where do I start with this movie? It's directed by Anthony Hickox, who I enjoy as a director. He directed Waxwork and Waxwork 2 Lost in Time, which I reviewed both of those on my channel, and I enjoy those ever since I saw them when I was a kid. I think they're imaginative, inventive. Zach Galligan does a good job. There's a lot of nice references to other movies. Love Waxwork 1 and 2. He also did Full Eclipse, which I've also reviewed on this channel. It's a fun werewolf film with Mario Van Peebles. It's a mix of werewolves with cops. It went to cable, but for a movie that went to cable, it's pretty damn good. One of the better werewolf films, in my opinion. He also directed Hellraiser 3, which I think is one of the last decent Hellraiser films. I reviewed that when I reviewed all the Hellraiser movies. And Anthony Hickox had worked before with Dolph Lundgren on Stormcatcher, which I had fun with. Yeah, it's a direct-to-video film, and it has some issues, but overall I thought it was a fun movie. It has some nice moments, like Dolph trying to be a New Yorker. If you want to hear more, feel free to watch my review of that film. I think that's an entertaining film for what it is. Now, he also went on to direct Submerged, which I ranted on that piece of shit when I reviewed all of the Steven Seagal movies. Although that's not really Anthony Hickox's fault. That's because it was going to be a creature feature film. Then Steven Seagal changed shit last minute and was horrible to work with, like he usually is. I found that out when I reviewed all the Steven Seagal films, and you're looking up stories about all these movies, like Jesus. Dolph, on the other hand, it seems like a lot of people who work with him say he's a nice guy. Like even Anthony Hickox on the commentary, he had disagreements with Dolph. For example, Dolph and the producer, was it Damian Lee? They wanted like more close-ups, but the director didn't want close-ups because he felt that was more of a TV movie. He wanted more wide shots, among other stuff. But he still said he was a nice guy. And again, they had worked together on Stormcatcher. But whatever cooks were in the kitchen, whatever you want to say got fucked up, it still got really fucked up because this is one of Dolph Lundgren's worst fucking films. If there was a top 10 worst Dolph Lundgren films, this would be on there. Apparently Tom Berenger was the original choice for the lead, which makes a bit more sense than Dolph. But I guess if Dolph had a... I don't know, maybe to sell it more foreign-wise, maybe he had a deal with this company. Phoenician Entertainment. I think that's the same guys who did Agent Red, which I think that was around the same time as this. Another one of Dolph's worst films. I don't know if that's going to be before or after this. The story, Dolph Lundgren's brother is found in the body of water, tied up and dead. Apparently this film takes place in 1977. I'm like, really? Okay. Sure, I buy it's in the 70s. Dolph Lundgren used to be a cop, but he's not anymore. He's looking into his brother's death. He has a bit of a drinking problem. He chats with his brother's wife, played by Danielle Brett, and finds out that his brother was a little bit into the S&M crowd. So yes, an S&M Dolph Lundgren film. And the S&M crowd where he later finds out by finding the film, his brother was murdered by this dominatrix all in red with a mask who hung him upside down, was patting his ass, and then ultimately killed him. So Dolph Lundgren wants to find out who did that. He thinks his deals with corruption of this big city businessman, something to do with some fucking tunnel, and really nothing comes of that because it has nothing to do with the shit. It's just a boring, dull, slow-paced film. As one person would say, how the fuck do you make a boring film where the killer is this, I will admit, sexy-looking dominatrix in red leather and a mask? I'm like, wow, she's hot. I don't know if that means I'm into S&M or not. But I will say this lady looks pretty fucking hot in that garb, in that outfit. I tried once. But it comes to, like, do you want to see a Dolph Lundgren film where, I get it, Dolph Lundgren is trying to stretch his acting muscles. He's doing the best that he can. I don't know if he was the right fit, though, for this role. The direction has no energy, which is weird, because Anthony Hickox usually brings that. Again, if you watch full Eclipse, if you watch Watcher 1 and 2, even Hellraiser 3, there's a certain energetic vibe to it. Even Submerged has a bit more of an energy to it, despite all the fucking problems, than this movie. It's plainly shot. It's very dull. Sometimes it's a little bit confusing because you have like this one guy with this weird fucking hair who overacts and fucking talks loud. I think he's a pimp because there's a dialogue where something about he sells women and he's going so over the top. He has this. He looks like if a fucking person scalped one of the Beatles and put the hair on this guy's head, and then again just went full tilt to number 12. Even though it fucking only goes from 1 to 10 in his performance. Oh, let's go back to 12. Go up to 12, why don't you? And not much fucking happens. He's investigating. People tell him you're not a cop anymore. He has conversations with the brother's wife, widow. And most people are going to fucking realize that, I bet that's the killer. Why? Because it's one of the only fucking main females in the film, and films of this nature want to have a twist in it. So, and with the body type, it's not going to be the overweight woman that he finds at a club who's trying to get info. It's not the overweight other woman who sicks her dog on him and biting Dolph's arm, so he hits and kicks it. It's not going to be her because this lady's thinner and white. The other one was black. Because movies that, we got about 30 minutes left. This woman in the red garb, I bet she's not the killer. And she ends up not being the killer. So you have a whodunit that anyone could guess very fucking easily. You have dialogue that's told very quiet and very quiet because we're serious. Just if we're serious, we gotta be very quiet and talk very quietly. Otherwise, it won't be taken seriously. And I'm like, wake the fuck up, movie. You can make a serial killer film be serious and still be entertaining. Even if it's direct-to-video film. I'll give you an example. A year before this film, you had a flick called Resurrection with Christopher Lambert, or sometimes people pronounce his name Christophe Lambert, directed by Russell Mulcahy, where a killer was killing people because he wanted body parts to recreate the body of Jesus Christ. Resurrection of Christopher Lambert, or Christophe Lambert, however you want to go. That's a damn good movie, and that was a direct-to-video film. Like, if you want to put Dolph against a serial killer in a dark, violent movie, I'm for that. This wasn't the case. The investigation was boring. It's an hour and, 28 minutes? And it felt like 2 hours and 28 minutes. If you're going in for action, you're not getting much action. A couple times Dolph punches someone. One little funny bit, he's going to an S&M club and he's going to submit to a woman, but then he's asking questions and the guy's trying to throw him out and realizes, oh, I recognize you. And they recognize each other because the one guy used to be a boxer. I got like a little chuckle smile out of me. And then at the end of the third act, he finds the woman he thinks it is. He lets himself be tied up, which was a stupid idea on Dolph's part. And so she's being a dominatrix. A guy who's with him comes in, shoots the girl, and she doesn't have a knife. She has like a thing to tickle you. And they cover up the murder. I guess we're supposed to be okay with this because Dolph and them think maybe that's the killer. But she had no knife. You cover that up. And then you find out, no, that wasn't the killer. So, Dolph, you and this asshole covered up the murder of an innocent dominatrix. And the movie thinks we're so fucking stupid, we're supposed to forget about this. 10 minutes later, when Dolph finds out, oh, it's the brother's wife. And she killed people because I guess her husband, aka Dolph's brother, had other people use her, and then she's going to kill the over the top pimp guy because he sells women, and I guess Dolph Lundgren lets her go because the one guy hits the girl, Dolph shoots the guy, they're in a tunnel, they're they're almost hugging each other. Then it cuts to Dolph Lundgren doing another cover up, but this one he killed the overweight lady in self-defense. And the other guy he shot in the tunnel put the body to there to make it seem like they killed each other. And I'm thinking, so did the brother's wife get away with it? I mean, it's like the movie's trying to make us feel sorry for her because she had a tough life. But give us a little bit more clearer information as to why she killed these people. She just goes into a conversation about how, oh, well, people treated her mom. They didn't help her mom when she was dying because she was a whore, and her dad made her into a mistress, and the brother wanted the friends to fuck her. But what about the other people you killed? Like, what was their deal? Like, help me understand, movie. Maybe I just missed it, went over my fucking head. And if so, I don't care. But him and the other guy cover up one murder, and the other, they cover up a self-defense. Which I'm thinking, why cover it up? It was self-defense. The girl shot at you, you shot in self-defense. But you cover that up too with your part with your buddy who is a cop. I guess he let the girl go because the last shot is him in his house. There's his mom. He's sitting, look out the window with the dog who used to be with the overweight lady, with the fat lady. You know, there's especially the fat lady scenes where she's fucking singing and crowing and then puking over this goddamn flick. Any positives? Dolph is trying in the acting department. This role didn't fit him. This lady looks cool and hot in the garb, but you can watch fucking videos on the internet for that. And there's one nice aftermath shot where there's a dead body and the head has been crushed. And again, it's aftermath. That's really it. The cinematography, not much I can say about it. The rest of the actors, no one comes to mind that was remarkable or memorable. It doesn't have any of the style or energy that is in some of Anthony Hickox's earlier films. The script seemed very boring or messy or a little bit convoluted, confusing when it shouldn't have been. And no one was asking for a Dolph film dealing with S&M. I mean, I hate to say it, even Color of Night with Bruce Willis I would put above this. Because even that has some pretty decent action sequences. And that had a cast that includes Scott Bakula, I think Lance Henriksen and Brad Dourif were in it. I believe so. I remember having a pretty good cast. Color of Night I don't love, but I don't hate it as much as I used to. The problem is the length of the film is too long, and you didn't need to see Bruce Willis' dick, which no one ever has to see that. Thankfully, you don't see Dolph's dick. Okay, I guess that's another praise. Another positive note for the film. You don't see Dolph's dick. But boring, dull, slow, uneventful for a serial killer movie. Tedious investigation. Dolph trying to act. And I'm a guy who loves Dolph Lundgren and thinks he's not that bad of an actor, despite what others say. But I think he was overreaching what he could do. I don't know, maybe in a different director or a different producer or a different script or a different type of film. It's funny, this lady on the cover is not in the movie. And then even Dolph, it looks like he has, I don't know if that's the same haircut he has in the movie. So I'm reading the back of it. His own lines between right and wrong become blurred, and he begins to lose all objectivity. I wouldn't even go that far. It doesn't really go that deep. The back of the film makes it seem as if this would be like Tightrope with Clint Eastwood, which I didn't mind that film. I mean, that also dealt with certain dark themes that was not typical for an Eastwood film. But that one I thought handled it a little bit better. I don't love Tightrope, but I thought that was a little bit better done than this movie. But this is not Tightrope with Clint Eastwood. This is a lame flick that deserves as many low ratings as it can get. It's easily one of Dolph Lundgren's worst films. Definitely in the top 10. It's not the number one worst, but it's one of the worst. And this might be the worst Anthony. Is this okay? I was thinking of Anthony Hickox. Is this worse than Submerged with Steven Seagal? Sadly, I would say yes, because Submerged is fucking awful, and that pissed me off because of what could have been. That's where I was much more angry in that rant for Submerged, because the potential, and this is where it ended up, just like a creature feature movie with Steven Seagal, and the guy directed Watchmen 1 and 2, and this is what you did? Everything's been changed, and Seagal's a fat fuck idiot. You just have to call him that because of all the bullshit he's put onto people. Now they ran away to Russia. Working at fucking KFC probably right now. The Russian KFC. But here, at least Submerged had a couple of action moments that I could smile at. Like a helicopter, like going to a building, and there's some firefights. There's at least some mindless action that could delay my brain cells into receiving the signals of the other utter crap I was witnessing throughout the rest of the running time. And oh, here's some mindless action. Oh, here's some ecstasy now for a couple minutes. This doesn't even have that. So if you're a fan of the film, to each their own. There's much better serial. Hell, you want to talk about another serial kill film? I haven't seen this in forever, but I remember not minding it. Postmortem, where Charlie Sheen, or Charles Sheen, as he called himself in that movie. I mean, on the DVD cover. I remember not minding Postmortem. I'd like to see that again. But I remember being better than this. Like I said, Resurrection is better than this. Let alone a film like Seven. It's better than this. ICU, also known as Detox, that dealt with Stallone chasing a serial killer. That's what this film should have been more. ICU, aka Detox, which I reviewed when I did my Sylvester Stallone marathon, it has some problems with the editing. Some things are missing, as you could tell. But I still think it's a pretty underrated film. It has a lot of stuff going for it. And I still really enjoy that film. That's what this film should have been more like. That more straightforward serial killer movie, and Dolph has to go after it. This person. But that's not really the case. But what can you do? Either way, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.